What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and most anybody on my channel knows, of course, who I am. I mean, the guy that runs Comics Explained. If you happen to stumble across this video as you're going through the search videos on YouTube or whatever the case may be, one of the things that a lot of people are really talking about, really they're not talking about it as much anymore, but it has been a huge talking point, is the issue of demonetization. Like most YouTubers, I have a YouTube contact. Now, my contact most likely has hundreds of other people that they work with, and so I'm not exceedingly special. I don't have like one person that works only with me. It doesn't really work that way. And so what I've done, really when, I had a handful of videos that were demonetized yesterday. And what I did is I sat down, I was so mad, and I was like, okay, I need to calm down, I need to relax, and I need to compose my thoughts in a reasonably worded email. One, to, find some measure of catharsis so I can work my anger out. And two, so that one, I can make my presence known, and make my case known. And two, so that I can have like a clear and concise statement of what the problem is. And three, we can find a solution, because it's one thing to just rant and rave and complain. Like Twitter's really good about that. Twitter's really good at, about saying that's a problem and then having no solution to what that problem is. And I don't want to be Twitter. And so the result is that I've basically gone through and I've written out this entire email that actually has a solution to the demonetization issue, which I'm going to read this email to you guys now because I think it can make my case better than I can. So, to my YouTube contact, my video on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps has been waiting approval for monetization for about 3 hours following its recent demonetization. This comes off 2 videos which had been demonetized the day before, one of which was a live question and answer session, and the other was on the origin of Polaris, the daughter of Magneto. Neither of these videos contained any content that could be considered questionable or non-advertiser friendly, barring of course the possibility that advertisers hate comic books. I've noticed that this is a consistent trend on my channel and across YouTube. For reasons that are given, I can never get to these things without messing up. For reasons that are never given by YouTube except by pointing to exceedingly vague community guidelines, the videos on my channel and others are demonetized almost every week, and the appeals process is initiated, which on my channel has been known to take anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, all the way up to 36 or even 48 hours if a video is demonetized on a Sunday or a holiday. I was under the impression that YouTube exists to empower content creators, but at the moment, YouTube seems to exist to empower advertisers. If advertisers are able to promote their products on my videos due to my willingness to enable monetization, wouldn't content creators take precedent? After all, of what use is the desire to advertise a product if no one's willing to allow the product to be advertised on their videos? Furthermore, if the reason for such a lengthy appeals process is a byproduct of a lack of manpower, then why would YouTube implement an algorithm which is unable to tell the difference between the statements "Hitler did nothing wrong" and "Hitler did everything wrong," and then lack the means to ensure the algorithm works as it's supposed to? Is YouTube not concerned about the impact demonetization has on its content creators, or is the concern for impact limited to channels that generate quote-unquote Logan Paul money? I fear that while YouTube does stand as the largest video sharing platform on the planet, YouTube's content monetization system combined with its demonetization, with its demonstration of enforcing its community guidelines unevenly clearly demonstrates an attitude that while all content creators are equal, some are more equal than others. In addition to this, the rampant demonetization based on undefined rules followed up with remonetization and YouTube's refusal to compensate content creators for lost income based on a badly designed algorithm demonstrates at worst a complete indifference to content creators and at best complete negligence. To this end, I've included a plan designed to fix YouTube's existing algorithmic problems regarding demonetization. So, the first part, YouTube's advertisement problems and my solution, which is really kind of the overarching thing. That's really just kind of the second part of it. If TubeFilter's May 2017 article is to be believed, which you'll find a link down in the description, neither content creators nor advertisers previously had a say in which ads appeared on creator channels. Instead, ad revenue was thrown into a pool of sorts, and ad distribution was based strictly on whether or not a channel was eligible for monetization. In light of the adpocalypse, YouTube implemented a system of sorts for advertisers, allowing them to determine which videos their ads would appear on using a categorization system which included includes things like videos without tragedy and conflict, topics that did not touch on sensitive and social issues, as well as videos that did not include sensational or shocking content. While this was enough to appease advertisers and return them to the platform, this saw a paradigm shift in how content creators are viewed as opposed to advertisers. Instead of seeing content creators as one part of a team helping YouTube remain the top video sharing platform, instead, content creators are now viewed as second to advertisers. If advertisers can receive an option to determine which videos their ads will appear next to, why are content creators not given the same option? Instead of implementing an algorithm that erroneously demonetizes videos, I propose that YouTube provide a tiered system for monetization as follows. Tier 1, advertisers who do not, under any circumstance, want their brands appearing next to videos involving tragedy and conflict, sensitive social issues, sexually suggestive content, sensational and shocking content, or content with profanity and rough language. Tier 2, advertisers who are a little less selective and not as stringent as the first tier. This would likely see a continuation of the current situation regarding demonetization and YouTube's requirement of admitting fault when videos are remonetized, largely due to the fact that not all advertisers in this category would select the same topics on which videos their ads would appear next to. And then tier 3, advertisers who don't care what their product appears next to. One thing I also kind of thought about here just a second ago as I was reading about that, I would think the best way to implement that would literally be in the monetization option for video. You can do it by video, by individual video. You can even do it by channel if you want your whole channel to fall under that whole category. But you select one of these three or select all three. You can select, the first two, you can select the middle one, you can select, tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3, however it is that you want to do it. But while this tiered system would take some fine tuning, I think this design is superior to the current system used by YouTube, as it allows content creators to gain a better idea of whether or not their videos will be demonetized by allowing for control over which brands advertise on their channels. And so in closing, while I do enjoy YouTube as a video sharing platform, the current state of arbitrary demonetization based on vague guidelines combined with YouTube's preference of advertisers over content creators shows an attitude that YouTube believes content creators will always be here, as this is where the money is. While there may be truth to this statement in the present, I would like to remind YouTube that at one time, both MySpace and Vine were two of the biggest social media outlets until they weren't. MySpace almost lost the entirety of its user base, and Vine was shut down due to a series of business decisions that ignored these platforms' respective user bases, leading to a transition to new platforms which seem more conducive to content creators' needs and desires. With this being 2018, the age of YouTube as the world's only real video sharing site is rapidly coming to a close, as alternatives like Vimeo, Facebook Watch, and Amazon continue to rise in prominence. Furthermore, if YouTube's continuation of arbitrary demonetization continues, it may become a necessity that I, alongside other channels, begin the process of moving to more crowdfunded sources of revenue like Patreon and abandon YouTube's existing monetization system, i.e., we take monetization off our channels. Just demonetize everything. So I don't know. That's just kind of my statement on this. I'd like to believe it's well worded. I'm a little biased because I wrote it, but still, I as much as I love YouTube, I'm in the Philip DeFranco crowd. I'm tired of defending a platform that doesn't care enough to fix its problems. And so, I don't know. Maybe YouTube has just become complacent because they have Google's money, and they're like, look, we've got Google money. We're not going anywhere. But then what happens when Google just gets rid of YouTube? Like, what would happen? Google has YouTube because it's the biggest video sharing platform in the world. And sure, Google's search engine is tied in with YouTube's search engine, but Google's in the business of making money. That's really all it is. And I would like to believe that if YouTube stopped being the biggest video sharing platform, Google would either buy the next one that comes out, or they would just kind of cut YouTube loose. But the fact remains, nothing's ever an absolute. Nothing ever lasts forever. A time will come when YouTube will start to struggle, and it'll need the help of its content creators to stay afloat. And if YouTube continues on that path, where YouTube starts sinking and asks for a lifeline, there's not going to be anybody there to give them one. But anyway, with that being said, guys, I'm going to bring this video to an end. If you're new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.